Good morning. We are live in Chicago at McCormick Place, day 3 of IMTS 2022. Who's excited to be here? Is anyone excited to be here? Yeah! Woo! A thumb. I see some thumbs up. Thumbs up are great. What about a woo? Are you happy to be here? Yeah! We'll take a hearty yeah! Welcome. Good morning. We are about to launch with our all-original programming brought to you by the Creators Lounge, sponsored by Industrial Strength Marketing, Industrial Studios. We have a lot of great conversations lined up, a couple of surprises like we do, so stay tuned. Remember to engage with us, hashtag We Are All Creators, hashtag IMTS 2022. Join me as we summon the influencers. Calling all influencers to the Creators Lounge. Yeah, welcome. Good morning. Happy to have you with us. Calling all influencers. Wait, hey, plant friends, can we get a little help summoning the influencers? Calling all influencers. We need you to the Creators Lounge. So, hey, live stream friends, I know, I can feel you asking yourself, how was our Giordano's pizza party? Oh, you just asked. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I have so much leftover pizza in my fridge. My roommate is very excited. The abundance from the Industrial Studios opening party at Giordano's, delicious in every way. So we're back here for some more fun. Wait, come here, James. I see you in the periphery. James Soto. So we had a really fun time, and I think we had like 100 people there last night. We were mixing, we were mingling, we were laughing, we were eating, we were drinking. It was so nice. Tell me more.
I actually had 3 slices, so the whole day, 3 slices of Giordano. So I'm so thankful to Chicago Pizza.
Yes.
It was good.
So was that your first Chicago pizza experience?
No, the first IMTS Chicago Pizza experience. It was awesome.
There's nothing wrong with all kinds of Chicago style pizza, but my personal favorite is that stuffed crust, because the other kind I like to call a biscuit with sauce. And I don't want to offend anyone, to each their own pizza, but something about that stuffed crust, because you have toppings on top and then you have toppings inside. So I think the equation would be T squared.
Is that like the Terminator?
Toppings squared.
We'll call it the Terminator.
The Terminator, because that's kind of how you feel after you eat 3 slices of it. James, what are you excited about today? I feel like today's energy. So I think the first 2 days, it felt kind of like if pop rocks could be like in the air. It had that like pop rock kind of like champagne vibe. Today feels like, ooh, like it feels more like I'm here to like. It feels like a more serious, but like good serious, but it's like, I was gonna say it's got this like hard rock kind of like, ugh. Let's get some business done. Let's
get to work.
Let's buy some equipment. Let's get some business done. Let's get our innovation on. I feel like the first 2 days are more like, I'm just gonna check stuff out and I'm gonna look at machines and talk to people. And I love walking around, seeing all the sold signs on these, amazing machines around us.
Well, we actually had a purchase of 2 Akumas right from the Creators Lounge. So
2 bouncing baby Akumas.
They're great. I walked in, they didn't believe me. I'll say, I'll just take 1 of each of them. And I just said, hey, Mitch, go buy 2. And he did.
It's awesome. It's just so exciting that people are really here to make change and really invest. I think it's so exciting, all the education, the summit things that have been going on with like teens, like it's, I don't even know. It's exciting. I think that's the word to describe it.
I think it's super exciting, but we have a little influencer problem today. They're like running amok, and I think some like hijinks and chaos are happening, and I'm actually have to go in a second because I'm about to go track a few of them down.
Would you please? It's like we've created monsters. We've empowered them, and and they've scattered to the hills.
Well, I'm going to see if we can find some. So we're just going to get the cool cats today for this session in the morning. So I'm going to go see if I can find them, but if not, we're going to make fun of them.
If you don't show up to the Creators Lounge, you might get roasted. Thank you, James. Also, Justin and I, my fabulous camera sidekick, we have some fun. We call them run and guns because that's a spicy phrase. So we're going to go hit the floor and doing some interviews this afternoon. Day 3, you better stay tuned because we can be anywhere at any time inspiring creation. Hashtag we are all creators. Hashtag IMTS 2022. Stay tuned for our morning influencer insights.
Let's go boom. Let's go boom. Let's go boom. Boom.
Good morning. I was just playing in the land of aerospace innovations at JTech. Oh, I'm so sorry. After you. So we are on our way back to the Creators Lounge. We are going to meet with some. We're gonna have a recap. We're gonna have our morning rally to get everyone excited about the day. Hear about who everyone is interviewing, what everyone is excited about. We have a couple of our influencers. We lost them. We empowered them to go talk about stories of creators, and we can't track them down. So some of them will be joining us later today. Ooh, look at Nels getting stuff done for Industrial Studios. Good morning. Oh, here they are. Oh, look at the epic magical creature that's Megan Ziemba. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Scott McKenzie and Jason and Jim. They're so pretty and shiny and smart. Can I take one home? I promise I'll feed it leftover Giordano's and lattes, and I'll make sure it has a nice patch in the sun for naps. Oh, they're so pretty. Sparkly, beautiful. I'm going to go talk to them. Let's do it. Oh, I love my handprint. We need some Windex on the creators line. Ooh, sparkly. Yes. Let's see what they have going on today. Come, join me. Good morning, beautiful, marvelous people. I was just playing over in the JTech booth. I love all of the machines. It's so exciting. It just like blows my brains every single time. Like all the innovations and woo. So good morning. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing?
Great. I'm losing my voice a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's expected.
I highly recommend my actor trick, hot water with lemon and honey.
I brought some honey
I will find
right
that.
there.
Some honey.
There
Honey,
you
honey.
go.
Scott, how you feeling?
Absolutely wonderful. My voice is just fine.
Ah,
That's podcast trash talk.
podcast trash talk. James, what's good?
I'm a little bummed.
Why are you bummed?
I heard, it's so funny. I thought you said pumped, but you said I'm a little pumped.
No, I'm a little bummed
Oh,
out.
did you bummed out?
I missed a really good party at Reggie's last night with Chris Lewicki of
You sure
Manufacturing
did.
Happy Hour and Megan and it was a punk rock place, right?
I know.
And
Your cell phone is.
and I was losing
more
my
important now all of a
voice,
sudden.
so I couldn't make it.
I didn't get that invite. Did somebody forget to call the director or the creators?
We
No.
told everybody
She,
to come.
to be fair, she did tell everyone, and I had an
We
angel.
did.
I had an angel devil moment in my brain. Where I was like, I really want to go, but tomorrow I have to talk all day. I was like, but you need to get some sleep. I was like, but I want to hang out with my influencer, or awesome manufacturing friends. And Responsible Mary won. She doesn't win often, but she won last night. But we're all winning today. Here we are. So let's start. So if you've noticed, we're influencer light, LITE. That's because they're out doing amazing things. They're going to be joining us later. They're going to come back with a bunch of stories because we are storytellers and we are all creators. Whoa.
I kind of feel like one of those Academy Award seat fillers for the influencers.
and you're
I'm not supposed to be in this room.
No,
I'm supposed to be.
Jim, you're filling
But
it
you
really
are
well.
supposed to be in this room because you're making us look great.
So for those of you who haven't met Jim, he likes to throw technology. His phone hit the floor. So Jim is our director extraordinaire. He lives
in the back.
he lives in the back. I was going to say he lives in the closet under the stairs, Harry Potter style. And so we're bringing him out because
For a special reason, we can talk later. But yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
bacon.
I have a thing. Can I do one thing really quick, though?
Yes, you may.
I want to do a shout out to my. Which camera should we look at? I want to do a shout out to my wife, Mary O'Donoghue.
Wait,
I love
I'm a
you
Mary.
very
So
much.
she's.
She's
Sorry,
Mary
you're
O'Donoghue.
Mid shout out to your wife. I'm
I
sorry.
love you, Mary, and I want to tell the world I love my wife. It is, I think, our 27th wedding anniversary this Friday, and I'll be in
my
the
gosh,
Creators
yeah.
Lounge. But 27 years, love you much.
We got to get a cake.
Yeah.
A cake?
We got to get a cake and
We'll
celebrate.
send some to
Yeah.
Nashville and some here.
Happy
but
anniversry, Mary and
We
Jim.
can do a virtual call with her.
Because isn't
Yeah.
that the best form of creation? Love. I just wanted to see Scott's face.
Love.
I think
Very
creation
wide
is the best
love.
result of love.
I mean, the answer is
yeah,
yes.
right.
It's a both and situation.
But there's a reason why I'm sitting in this room.
Tell us.
That we'll get to it later.
Oh,
But let's talk
Dang
about.
it! I wanted to.
Yeah.
You keep
Wow,
on setting
just
the
for a
bait.
seat filler,
Yeah.
he's taking up all the time.
I'm directing
I don't think that,
and,
he's a chirper.
He's kind of like the nougat in the
That's
in the
right,
Musketeers.
Chirpy, chirperton.
Chirper, chirper, chirp, chirp. But speaking of chirping, let's like we're birds on the telephone line. Let's chirp about today. So, or let's tweet. I'm sorry, I had to. So it's day 3, really exciting. And I feel like the energy in the air is more of like I am here to get stuff done. So, what stuff are we getting done today? What are you excited about? Who are you talking to? Tell
So
us. I'm just obsessed with this jacket.
right
Like,
after, thank you.
yeah, you're fabulous.
A lot of people have complimented it already, and then people who are looking for me were like, "You are really easy to find now," and I'm like, "Yes, hashtag come find me." Hashtag. I'm really excited because I'm talking to Jake, the Manufacturing Millennial Hall, with Chris Lukey. I'm hoping that they're bringing a special guest with them. And then I'm speaking with Nikki Gonzalez, who's part of the Automation Ladies, and she works with QuoteBeam. I'm really nervous right now because I have a bus full of 30 kids that came here, but they dropped them off at the wrong building. So I have someone chasing them around, trying to find them, bringing them to the Student Summit. And I'm hoping that 3 or 4 of them are going to come up here so that we can all talk to them.
I would love
and
that.
learn more about what they think engineering and manufacturing is. I think there's a huge disconnect between manufacturers and the students who are going to school learning about these technologies and the processes. And I think it's great to hear from them on what we can do better to get them more excited. So
Yeah.
they're
What better way than to address from the ground level? Like, what do you know? What do you
Yeah.
think you know? Let's help give you the accurate information.
Right. What's the biggest question you have for any of the companies that are here? And then Women Make Manufacturing Move. I'm going to nail that one of these days without stumbling on it. But the Women Make Manufacturing Move is having a luncheon today, so I'm hoping to stop by there and get a quick listen on their presentation that they're having.
Wow, that is like a jam-packed.
It's a full day.
That is like a Jewish New York deli sandwich.
Which I've never had, but it sounds delicious.
It is delicious. But you just gave me the Cat's Deli version of a schedule. By the way, yeah. Anyway, if you're in New York, go to Cat's Deli. Cats with the K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah,
Home
nailed
run.
it. Pickle.
Yeah.
Don't touch my pickle. Yeah, I
Yeah.
am gonna eat that pickle, and I'm waiting for the right time. Get your own
Yes.
pickle. Scott, what are you jazzed about today? What's going on?
Okay, so I've been very fortunate to be able to visit. I'm on sort of area 3, right? I've done the south, I've done the north, and now I've done the east.
You sound like a storm system.
Yeah, I do. And I did the east this morning, right? And it is also chock full. It's just overwhelming, right? It is. And then I got the east and west, and then I need to do the west tomorrow. And every location does not disappoint. It is just an eye extravaganza. It is. It's-
Extravaganza.
yeah. And then on my schedule today, we did a great interview. And it was just sort of an ad hoc interview with Cardinal Manufacturing. This is a
Ooh, they're
high
great.
school sponsored manufacturing center. They're doing it right.
They are.
You know them.
Yeah.
They're doing it
they're
right.
I'm
doing
so
great.
excited to spend some time with like the teens today.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm really. Let's get. Hey, director.
Yeah, I'm not to.
Oh, no,
I'll
that's
jug
okay
on,
there,
but I'm
Phil.
also interviewing some stuff and some teens and some young manufacturers. But
Great.
continue with
It
Cardinal
is.
Yeah,
No,
Manufacturing.
and it's inspiring.
Super,
So to your
super
point,
inspiring.
there's maybe this concern between how are we going to fill the workforce of the future? Well, they're doing it. Cardinal Manufacturing and that program is making it happen. They're working in conjunction with Mazak. Mazak is dropping off a new machine for them, and this program does it soup to nuts, man. They just train the whole thing through, and these students are just real passionate, and they're doing a great job there. I'm also having a great conversation with Darcy McLaren, SAP. So that's going to be a popping conversation. And then Tony Pepke, MXD. Now, I was at MXD
I know them
last,
too. Doing good things.
You know everybody.
I'm sorry.
She's
it's
Megan
okay,
Ziemba.
Anyway, I was at MXD last night, and it's an innovation center here in Chicago, and it was spectacular. So we were broadcasting on site there, spectacular, and they're all about that education. They're all about that collaboration, and they're all about innovation and what does that look like. Here's a stat. Kids today in junior high, 85%, their jobs are not defined in 2030. Sorry about the.
No, we're with you. We're doing great.
Sorry about the data thing.
Stats are hard.
The
is why I don't like
85% of the jobs have not been discovered or defined
Yep.
for all students in junior high. So
Yep.
85% will have new, undefined.
I mean, with
Jobs in
Second
the
City,
future.
we created a brand new virtual production position that did not exist 2 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
And also as well as something what I do I call infotainment. Infotainment. That job did not exist 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now that is my career, is virtual production and infotainment.
I need to get you connected with Rebecca Murray because
Because you know everyone and I want to know more.
Well, she knows infotainment.
Yes, and that's what this is infotainment. That's what Industrial Studios does. That's what we officially took the champagne bottle and christened the boat with it last night. Like it's a whole. So I just to
It is.
piggyback on that
No.
because I'm psyched out of my mind about it. Like it's a whole new industry.
Yeah.
And new industries are being born. It's like a nursery of idea babies,
And
just
it's-
popping up all over the
It's
place.
a rapid.
It really is.
Rapid. There's
It's like,
a speed, a velocity that if you're not engaged, if you're not a part of that conversation, if you're not willing to put yourself out there to just at least begin to learn little nuggets, you're going to be left behind, and you're going to look behind, and you're going to say, man, that train left, and that train left fast.
I think it piggybacks on yesterday. It's the be afraid and do it anyway.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
There's
Just
so
do it.
say if you have a pool of even just for math's sake, data's sake, 10 people, and you ask who wants to join me on this project. Everyone is going to have some fear in them because fear is healthy. It's our mammalian amygdala. It's like fearful to preserve ourselves. Only 2 people in that statistically to go with your 80% are going to raise their hand
Sorry
and
to
say
cut
yes.
you off.
No, cut me off.
We got Titan walking by.
Hey, what's
Titan!
up? Have some fun, Titan.
Yes. Go learn and talk and do stuff.
Sorry, I needed to shout that out.
No, you absolutely did. And that's so I just think that's fascinating to put that in perspective. Everyone's going to have some fear in them. Only 2 of 10
Just
people
do
is
it.
actually
Nobody
going to do
cares.
anything.
Come on,
Yeah.
you're not going to die.
No.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
James, just do it. What are you just doing
You got
today?
a busy day today, don't you?
Oh my gosh, I have a totally busy day, and I think for anyone watching this stream, and whether you're here on the show floor or you're at your shop, it's about being creative. It's about telling your story, and we are at the midpoint of IMTS, and it just hasn't stopped. And what you would think in this type of environment, we're battling for attention. It's like one of the most quoted, descriptions of marketing. It's the battle for attention. But I think what you're finding here are really distinct conversations where people want to reconnect. It's so much more chill. People are so much more accessible. And I think I've heard it earlier, online and off, is that people are getting these stories, they're getting this information before they even arrive. And it's really about, I think you said it and others have said it, it's about getting hands on the technology. It's getting together and lifting people up. We've literally smiled. We've had tears. Megan, you've gotten great, accolades from a young, 10-year-old who came to see you, and I think we've all had connections. And when you think about this manufacturing community and what you're going to be listening in on the various streams today, it's all of the dots that are connecting. We took over Giordano's Pizza last night. It was fantastic. And we had Manufacturing USA there, MXD, and the institutes are aligned. We work with NIST and Commerce to make that all happen. We ghostwrite for them. We are so connected. I am amazed just by all of us, by all of these folks that we know in industry. And that's what's exciting, as far as the programming is concerned for today. We have one person that's really important that we felt we needed to talk to, someone who's creative, who had a vision, and is the reason why the IMTS Plus Creators Lounge is here. And just to recap,
Dope.
IMTS Plus is a digital destination built for the manufacturing community. So the show is not ending. And IMTS Plus is going to be about programming. It's going to be about storytelling. It's going to be about a place you can go to read, to learn, to join, and to watch. And we're moving beyond things you have to consume to things you want to consume. And Peter
Ooh,
Ellman.
wait, I love that. We're moving from things you have to consume to things you want to consume. You choose your plate. You choose what tastes good to you. You curate what you are, the things that you are nourishing your head and your heart with.
Yeah. There's just so
And your tummy,
so many
pizza.
things. Absolutely. And who is coming is the Chief Experience Officer, the man with the plan, who is running the entire IMTS show, Peter
From
Ellman.
an office.
Yes,
Right
he's-
there.
He overlooks
Wait, no,
everything.
it's straight up
Yeah.
Willy Wonka style with Veruca
Yeah.
Salt's dad in the factory.
Yeah.
No, it's legit.
Yeah,
Like
it's
he's
literally.
we're
I
all
think he is a
furiously
little Willy
unwrapping
Wonka.
candy
Let's get him a
bars.
hat.
He's up there
Yeah,
like, where's
yeah.
the
We're getting
gum?
Peter Ellman a hat, his Willy Wonka hat.
Like legit,
And-
it's legit.
But we sat at MT at the MFG event and the Forecast event in Denver, and we sat at a table and we just started riffing on this idea, and we're going to talk about it. But this is someone who had a vision for IMTS Plus, who had a vision for storytelling, and the reason why we're here is to capture all of these stories. And it was such a great connection to Industrial Studios, which Jim and I are going to talk about in a second, because it's ultimately the singular question. We're here, and that's happening. It's what is our manufacturing story? And it's a story in progress, and this has been so great to be part of our heroes' journeys here together. So I'll be speaking also with Christine Spiegel. She's the strategic marketing director of Muirtech. And these are people like, we were having pizza, we were having fun, we're hanging out, and that's what this is all about. So I'm looking forward to these conversations. There's some other influencers that are doing some great things, but man, what a great time.
I think something, I've noted it before, I'm going to highlight it again because that's my job. There is a sense of joy that overarches all of these moments of connections. Like, you can be both master and student at the same time. There's a sense of, I know a thing that I'm really passionate about, you know a thing that you're really passionate about. There's a sense of grace and humility of like, yeah, you do your thing. That's awesome. Let me learn more about your thing. I'll tell you about my thing. And we just add more toys to the sandbox and everyone gets to play with more toys.
Yes, absolutely. So I'd like to introduce someone very special
Drum
to
roll.
me. And Mary, thank you for
Oh, that's much better.
sharing
Oh, that's much
time
better.
here.
I was like,
On your anniversary, I'm a little sad about that news that you're not together, but so I have the distinct honor and privilege to work with Jim Olin.
Simple Crash.
And he is a talented creator, leader, a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. He will shed a tear, but he's passionate about leading with creativity and humor. And we are having an absolute blast, having smiles in what is a very challenging environment to produce. And I'm pleased to introduce Jim Olin, who is now the fearless leader of Industrial Studios, which, as of a post about 20 minutes ago, has officially been launched publicly to
Happy
the
birthday.
industry. So Jim, there you go.
Well,
Jim.
Thank you. And kudos to, I think, first you and Peter for having that conversation about that storytelling needs to happen in this manufacturing industry, right? To that point, we've had so many people coming up to us and say, I want to share my story. I want to share my story. I want to share my story. And to the point where,
Don't have enough
Mary,
hours
as you
in the
know,
day.
I'm sending you out
Yeah,
to capture
This
a
is my
story.
look at my schedule.
It's crazy.
It's like highlight. It's like I don't know. Basically, we stopped having rehearsals. Like we're
Full run of show.
no, we're just like producing segments like down to like We're figuring stuff out
Yeah.
live in the moment. And-
Everybody wants to
in
share
all
their
honesty,
story.
I feel like this is going to change and it's going to fill up more, and I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Bring that robot.
So Mary's going to capture a story, and I was asked to interview, or we're like, well, who's going to interview these two young up-and-comers who are like anxious to get in? And we talked a little bit about retention, and so we developed a quick segment called The Next Generation. I'm going to interview a young man,
nice.
Max, and a young man, Nicholas, and they're going to talk about what led to their passions and getting into this industry and getting their degree, like everything for this. And gosh, the smile. So I'm looking forward to that. But to Industrial Studios, kudos to you and Peter to talk about this is what we need. We need storytelling. So Industrial Studios was officially launched yesterday.
Yay.
And this Creators Lounge is part of that launch because we wanted to share stories. And so it took James all of maybe 3 seconds to convince me to come over to run Industrial Studios, because I don't, and you know this of me, Mary, and I've met you, Scott and Megan, I don't want to do things normal. Like,
You can't.
yeah,
It's
like,
not in your
you can't,
DNA.
it's
Like, it's
not.
not in
You
your double
can't.
helix. You don't
so
have that.
I
whether
don't
it's
think
a
the market
regular
is-
interview and we can turn the camera a little bit, or we don't, James and I agree, we don't want to do rote interviews. We don't want to do from a template, and here's what it is. We have to do things differently. We have to be inventive, and that's one thing about the manufacturing industry that I love. We're constantly inventing. We're constantly being creative, and I think Industrial Studios is part of that. So I define quickly Industrial Studios as branded entertainment, which I kind of define as programming with an agenda. That we have to be entertaining, but we have to share a strategy, and there's a planning behind that. We are currently producing a show for MSC that you guys might have seen with Mitch Free, one of our influencers. It's called Tooling Up, and it's just a different take on it. And it's the stories of the why. The why are you in this industry? Why are you doing this? Why are you inventing? So that's really exciting for me. We're also partnering with MSC for 3 more series to tell the how-to and been there, done that, and really tell a different story. And that's why we're excited for Industrial Studios, because we want to do things differently. We're going to shoot differently. We're going to tell different stories. We're going to bring some humor to this. I'm not saying that the manufacturing industry doesn't have humor, but we're going to highlight that humor and highlight those stories. So we're really excited for Industrial Studios.
And we are just being involved in this project, I'm in like the infotainment and hosting industry, and just all of the sessions that we have before we do something. We have a meeting of the minds. We bring everyone together and like, what do you think? And I've never done a production where the turnaround is so quick, where I pitch an idea and you're like, yep, take Justin, take Bennett, go do it. Which is so exciting to be able to be off the leash, but also know that we are linked with our intentionality of knowing the why and what we're doing behind it.
exactly.
And then it's kind of like, so we have that center of the wheel, and you're like, we have that hub, and then the spokes go out, but we always know our intention and our why.
Yeah.
So today,
Yep.
your intention and your why. I was trying to do your voice. I don't.
Yeah, you're close.
Your intention and your why is to go hit that floor, have a really great time, and have really great conversations. Well, that was pretty okay.
Yeah, it was good.
I said pretty okay.
It was tingly.
So, Mary,
My skin is
one
tingling.
quick thing before we wrap up. I think the inspiration I think we all have is that we are all creators. Like, that is the hashtag.
Oh, what 3 seconds?
And
Sorry.
it's important that if you're watching this, really support each other by engaging in their content. You know, boost the algorithm. You hear it all the time. Like, share, subscribe. It's not just whether or not you're that engaged, but if you support their mission and where someone
Yes.
is in their journey. You know, we're talking a lot about Industrial Studios, and we're not big into, like, you know, chest pumping and all of that stuff, because there's just so many great creators out there.
Yes.
These folks here, Scott inspired me along his
Yeah.
journey around podcasting.
Yes.
Megan and when we were deciding who we would pick, you know, Charlie, you know, Megan, Scott, you know, they were so inspirational. But when we talk about how we move forward as creators, we do have to be honest about manufacturing, and we have to honor and celebrate what's best about it, the things that we are noticing that we should have noticed before. And when we look at the content we create, we have to be honest about it. And so when we really look at whether it's Industrial Studios' point of view or anyone else's, we're going to be really honest. If we're saying we're diverse and we're not, we're going to say we can't produce that. Let's talk about where you are in your journey, and let's talk about that first step. Let's talk about, you know, the optics. And you know, companies want to, you know, talk about sustainability, but if we feel it's greenwashing, you know, when you create a company, you have the opportunity to decide what it's about, and or a show or a podcast or whatever you're creating, and we want to do that. And so right now, you also have to be willing to shake it up. So I don't know if we have a camera out there, but there's something happening out there that looks pretty amazing.
Oh my
So,
Spot, the
so there's
robot
Spot out there.
is outside
So-
of the creator's zone.
Oh my
so,
gosh, I've
so
been
there's a
wanting to see
creator
him, and
for
he's right
you,
there.
right on cue.
He's so beautiful. You're
showing
doing so
showing
good.
a little robot.
Yes.
I don't even know what it is.
So that's my interview.
I've been wanting to
Okay.
meet you.
So here we go.
Stealing our
I'm straight up
I love it.
I love your work. I've been watching
Make
you.
sure that they don't
You're
say
so
it.
exciting, and you're so handsome, beautiful, whatever. You're
I have a
perfect.
feeling she's not talking to me.
No, I'm talking. I literally. I think I'm about to cry. Is anyone else feeling like emotional and excited?
All right, we all got to get.
Can we
up.
get a
gotta
woo?
see this.
Is anyone excited? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I need to. Excuse me. Let me return the curtsy.
Should I? Where should I?
Yeah. Get it. You have great moves. Of course, you have great moves. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, yes. The excited dance. Oh, everyone loves a compliment. Wow.
You guys in there, so you'll be right in there. Is he coming in? I hope so. Is the robot coming in? Oh, let's move this up. Hey,
Can we get some music out here? Hey.
Yes. So we have our next segment coming up next. Megan Ziemba is going to be interviewing Jake Hall, Business Development Manager of FZ Corp, and Chris, a podcast host of Manufacturing Happy Hour. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, IMTS 2022. If you're walking by the Creators Lounge, you might want to stop and take a look inside because we have Spot the robot in here. We also have Chris Lukey from Manufacturing Happy Hour and Jake, the Manufacturing Millennial Hall. How are you guys doing today?
We're great. I'm glad that like Spot's priority number one, and then we come in probably a pretty distant second, all things considered.
So this is my first time seeing it in person, so I'm just like fangirling over here.
Oh, man.
Of course.
And then we have Vache. Did I say? Yes, thank you. He is actually helping Spot gain his
Operating
personality,
Spot.
your operating Spot,
Yeah.
giving him his personality. So we're going to ask him questions too. So I appreciate you coming in here on the fly and
happy to be
being
here.
willing to do that. So first off, okay, you guys are both, content creators. You're manufacturing advocates. We got this skills gap going on. We have an awareness issue going on. So why is it so important for people like us to create that content for manufacturing and get the word out there?
Jake, I'll let you lead off because this is your sweet spot.
Yeah.
You literally are the manufacturing millennial. I'll run cleanup after your comments.
I think it's one of those things right now that in manufacturing, you're going to be facing, like you said, a massive skill gap shortage in the next few years. Right now, there's currently 820,000 open jobs in manufacturing, and by 2028 to 2030, we're expected to have almost 3 million jobs open in manufacturing. A lot of that's because of the baby boomers retiring. We have this older generation that's retiring, that's leaving our industry, and that no one's coming to fulfill those jobs. And we're beginning to be innovative too. So we're going to have new jobs that are opening up. But what really needs to happen is we need to leverage technology in a way that's going to excite kids to remove the dark, dirty, dangerous view that manufacturing is, and bring in technology like that we see Spot here that gets people excited that don't want to climb 20 sets of stairs at a refinery or at a facility to go look at a sensor to do the inspection. You know what? A person would much rather, control a controller or look through an interface and have a robot do that task for them instead. And I think that's what's going to be attracting the future workforce is technology that's going to enable their future.
And to kind of talk to the content creator side of that, right? Like Jake is known for putting out basically how it's made style videos every day. I've been sharing people's stories on Manufacturing Happy Hour for about 5 years, on videos, on podcasts, and since we have these workforce challenges, what's the right way to communicate with the next generation that we need to attract, right? When I moved from Houston, Texas to the Bay Area, I needed a new means to communicate because it was a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds making decisions, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm a 20 to 30-year-old at the time. So it's like videos, podcasts. That's the way to reach the next generation, to share those messages. So that way we can start addressing the issues that Jake was just talking to.
So I'm really happy that both of you are here together because you do partner on a lot of things, but you guys have different styles of how you're generating content and distributing it out there. So can you break down what your process is for each of your channels and what information you're trying to share out there? Because Jake, you focus a lot on automation videos and you focus a lot on conversation. So can you dive a little deeper into what each of your brands is and why you picked that sort of style?
Yeah.
Jake,
Yeah.
you lead this
So,
one.
for me, when I started and doing the whole content creation thing about 2 years ago, I viewed it as we are in an industry where very quick access to information is what's driving how people are getting and learning things. TikTok is the second largest search engine in the world now, and people consume information and they laugh and they move forward within a 30-second period. So when I want to communicate new technology in a way, I can't do the traditional 6-7 minute long case study video or video that's going to tell an entire story. I have to go out there and say what's going to engage an audience really quickly, that's going to make them excited about the technology and in a sense relate to a problem that they're facing out there. Manufacturers and skilled trades is just one of them. Let's say another one is a diverging workforce where getting existing workers who've been there for a long time more productive. How can we leverage technology such as collaborative robots or visions where we're not replacing people's jobs? The jobs still exist. We're just making their jobs easier. And so I use short format video to communicate in a way that's going to say, this is your problem. You can relate to it. Here's a solution.
Right.
And I'm going to put that in a 30-second time span to make that
Right.
adaptable to them.
That makes me think of Malachi's shirt that he's wearing around IMTS, freeing humans one robot
Yeah.
at a time.
Yep.
I think that's great. So, Chris, what about you? Why did you decide to pick the sort of platform you're using, and what is it that you look into when you're picking guests for your show?
Sure. I look for, primarily I'm looking for a good story to share, right? Like I think that's where my philosophy around podcasting is you should ask questions you can't find answers to on the internet, right? And I shared that the other day on LinkedIn, and someone is asking, well, what answers can't you find on the internet anymore, right? And a lot of it's like, why did you pick this career? Why did you go down this path? What did you do in this challenging situation, right? I got an engineering degree back in 2009, but admittedly I've gotten further and further away from that as I go. And really what I've described Manufacturing Happy Hour as, it's a leadership podcast disguised as a manufacturing podcast. So we're really tackling a lot of the timeless advice that leaders in this industry can bring to the table. And that's really where I've focused on when it comes to the Manufacturing Happy Hour podcast.
Go ahead.
And I think, Spot's a great example here. So Spot is, and I want Vansha to talk about this.
My next question was going to be directed to him.
Spot's a great technology, but people see it as a dancing robot. But it's not a dancing robot.
Right.
It's so much more than that. I love to talk about how is this changing manufacturing.
Sure.
Yeah. So first off, introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah.
And then talk about Boston Dynamics a little bit too, because I remember the very first one that you brought out, and I was creeped out. I was like, "What the hell is that?" But then you kept, improving it, making it better, and now it looks like more of like a cuddly puppy that I'm not so scared of when it first came out. So
Yeah, so my name is Vache Arabian, and I work at Boston Dynamics. I'm on the marketing team, and I'm focused on industrial applications for Spot. So how Spot's being used by industry to modernize and automate a lot of tasks that haven't been automated in the past. The big thing that we've been talking about this week here at the show is automating thermal inspection, but Spot has proved to be a valuable tool to automate inspection routes. So going around your facility, checking motors, checking pumps, using that thermal imaging camera to collect data points on things that are probably not worth sensorizing, but should be part of your predictive maintenance program. And given what Jake was saying earlier about the workforce retiring, there's a lot of challenges in staffing. It's a task that's not done often enough, but a lot of businesses have identified, hey, we need to do this a lot more often. How can we automate this? We could put a fixed sensor on 300 motors in our 1 million square foot facility. That might not make so much sense, but relegating tasks like that to a robot where you can collect structured, clean data and then start to look for trends and then better predict downtime. So that's really, really what Spot's being used for today. And yeah.
So how many spots are there?
How many spots are there?
Hundreds.
Hundreds? Are they different sizes, or is this the standard
Yeah,
size?
no, this is the only size Spot comes in.
Okay.
But Spot is a platform, so there's different configurations that you can use depending on what your inspections are. For example, if you're doing thermal inspection or acoustic reading, you can put those payloads on there. This particular robot has an arm on it, so for arm manipulation tasks. It just kind of depends on what you need done, and we've got a bunch of partners that help you with those integrations.
So I noticed that there's a ball there.
Yes.
So do you want to show
How that works?
how that works?
Yeah. Hold on one second.
I'm
I
geeking
can't
out
I can't
about
drive
this
and
right
hold
now.
my mic at the same time.
Here, I can hold your mic. I'm geeking out about this right now.
This way?
Yeah. Put more in the middle.
All right.
Just to give myself some room here. So manipulation is really easy picking up objects. I just tap on the screen and it just gets on the screen, but I can see the ball as an object.
I should hold this up to you while you're talking.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So I've told Spot I want to pick this object up. I'd say I want to grab it from the top down. Click that, and then Spot just moves through that function for me.
It's Tony Gunn. What's up, Tony?
And now I say carry, and then I can walk that over to Jake and release.
Easy as that.
That is so cool.
I was wondering if it was going to grab my foot on it instead of the ball, since I was
Like, get over here.
arm's length.
I think a really exciting thing about this is, so Spot can pick up a ball, but what if this is a component on a manufacturing floor? What if this is a door that Spot needs to open to get into a room to walk up to an MCC and
Right.
read a temperature panel or read a pressure sensor, you know. So it's cool that Spot can do a trick, but the fact is this is an actual agile robotic arm that can do a human task and be able to act that way. And that's the same thing, like, why doesn't robots have wheels? Well, wheels aren't where humans work in a lot of aspects. We need to climb up stairs. We need to go into compact areas. We need to go up a hill or a ramp.
These facilities weren't designed for wheeled or tracked robots. Graded stairs, complex
second.
areas.
Do you want to
Yeah.
take a picture?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you can
Yes,
take pictures
go
all you
ahead.
want.
Feel free.
Absolutely.
Flash away.
We are in a fishbowl right now.
Yeah.
You
And I know
Take a
it's not
picture
us either.
after
It's
the
all due
interview.
to Spot.
a cool thing that we can do with the gripper now that was in recent software, because we're always updating Spot software. We've recently released, you can do inspections with the gripper arm. So like you could
Okay.
go look in pick bins, you know, check for, read labels. You know, that's a really new exciting thing that we just announced in a software update.
So what about like bomb dismantling? Like, I know there's some robots that do that. Is that something that robot?
There are public safety applications for this robot for sure. Yeah. Yep. And the manipulation arm is really easy to use. So
That's really
yeah, there's
cool.
definitely some.
A great example for that is like a cave application, right? Where there could be a collapse instead of setting a human in there to do
Yeah.
a dangerous task. And a robot could go in there and do the same thing. Like SpaceX has a Spot robot where if they're doing testing and they want to test for gases, or same thing of a
Right.
manufacturing facility. You want to go into a manufacturing facility that might be a high-risk area, send a robot to do that instead, and that creates value in that sense.
And laser scanning too, you know, doing digital twins of your facilities, and then because it was the mining application reminded me of it, of, you know, sending Spot in to do a 3D scan in an area that's too dangerous for a person to go in and do that scan. That's another huge application.
So in terms of getting the next generation really excited, and this is open up to all of you, because I want to hear your opinions on this. Why is using technology like this and showing the kids something like this important?
Well, I mean, they're growing up with technology, right? These are the first generations that have had technology at their fingertips the whole time. They're not being nostalgia like us talking about how we had dial-up internet at one point, right? The internet has just always been there and it's always worked for them. So that's the expectation when they go into anything. And I think that's the general expectation for manufacturing today and why it's gone beyond the dull, dirty, dangerous that Jake talked about earlier. Because the expectation is there is high tech inside of these facilities to help do jobs, right? And I think that's how, that's a big part about getting the next generation involved.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think Chris said it perfectly. I mean, technology is something that us younger generations have evolved with, and we use our cell phone as a tool to wherever we go. But for so long, manufacturers are still using technology from 20 years ago. They're still using the 3-ring binder. They're still using the piece of paper to write down their production for their day, or why they have faults, or why they have errors. We need to leverage technology that's going to enable humans to better perform and to enjoy their lives better.
And I'm
not
glad
to replace them.
manufacturers have started to realize that,
Yeah.
right? They understand it's like, yep, people expect to be able to, order a car, order a package from their phone, right? So they expect to be able to go into work and be able to do X, Y, and Z from their phone or a tablet or what have you.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that you brought that up because I've bought 2 cars off of Carvana. I won't go back to going to the dealerships. Like,
Yeah.
I love picking a car out on my phone and ordering food or getting a ride, like it's very convenient.
We've talked about extrovert, introvert amongst ourselves during this time. I kind of do like going to the dealership a little bit because I do enjoy the sport of the haggle.
I do not.
I know most people
I
don't.
avoid
I know
that.
most people don't.
And going back to how technology is an enabler, Spot isn't out there to do and just completely replace a human. There's a human behind Spot.
Right.
It's just it's that separation. So that's how one of those things is. Technology isn't here just to like completely remove people from every process.
Right.
It's to put a space in that area. And talk more about that. Like, I think this is the biggest myth is, oh my gosh, Spot's just going to be running around completely on its own.
No, I mean, yeah,
It's not.
Spot doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't decide, hey, I'm going to go look at these motors. Someone has to program that mission, and someone has to have knowledge of those basic inspections to program
Right.
Spot. The idea is these inspections don't happen often enough. You have these Industry 4.0 goals as a business, and the only way to realistically reach them is by automating a lot of those tasks, and we see Spot as the best way to do that.
Right.
And yeah, to your point, it's not replacing jobs. It's making people's lives easier and safer. Like
Right.
that's the goal of Spot.
So in terms of those inspections, like how is that process, done? So obviously humans were doing it before, so they had a process and a checklist to go through to inspect something.
Yeah.
Are you collaborating with those inspectors to build the program then that
They're
will-
typically part of the process of integrating Spot onto their facility. So, like we hear a range of answers when people come to us and they want to automate inspections. We say, okay, so how often do you do thermal inspections? We hear everywhere from once a year because our insurance says we have to do it once a year. We hear once a quarter because I don't have enough time, and I honestly haven't seen the value of having someone go and take a bunch of unstructured data points about a bunch of motors, put it on a piece of paper, file it away at best, and not really do anything with that information. So the idea is they know, like, we're going to benefit knowing more about our facility. It's just getting that information. I've only got 15 maintenance people for my 1 million square foot facility. So like, how can I solve this problem? Well, enter Spot, right? So Spot can be now programmed to do that task. The information Spot collects can be processed on the edge, and then it can be integrated with your existing work order system. So when Spot does see a temperature threshold cross on a motor, it can create an alert, and with SAP or Maximo or whatever system that you're using, and create that work order and work ticket. So schedule that downtime, schedule that repair.
What are some of the things that Boston Dynamics are doing? You're bringing this to the show, of course, to show people how it works, and then you have it down in the Student Summit, which I think is really cool because I think kids are going to get really excited about this. What sort of other types of partnerships are you doing to get the word out there about Spot, but also just, what manufacturing is and how it is to be a programmer for something like this?
We do have a lot of content that we push online. A lot of that content, I think, that we're known for is the dancing, which we love. It's the biggest. Like, we've built so much awareness around our existence and our robots, and what we've really spent the last year doing is working on explaining to people, like, it's not just a flashy toy. It actually has purpose
does
and
have
function.
It's a mobile IoT platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been working a lot on that messaging, and that's part of my job, is like finding ways to explain and excite people on the robot's functionalities.
I don't mind the dancing, though. I think that's what we need to do. We need to think creatively. So I
Yeah.
wanted to talk to Chris and Jake about this. Influencers can kind of have a bad stigma behind them, and I know you've had conversations about it, and people have been critical about what we're doing. But why is it important for companies here at IMTS to partner with content creators and influencers who are advocating for manufacturing? Like, how does that help them get the word out about what they're doing and actually connect with the communities that they're existing within?
Well, I think it's no secret that the world is trending to storytelling. It's always been about storytelling, but I think in our industrial tech world, we do get caught up in feature benefits, right? And I think people are starting to realize there is a skill and a finesse to being able to tell these stories, create the right balance of content. Because what you were saying about Spot and the dancing robot, right? That content is important. It gets awareness out there, right? In the manufacturing world, we call that front of funnel content, right? People they know who you are, they see it out there. But as you dig further, you do need to see that, hey, Spot is a robot that's capable of going into hazardous locations, right?
Right.
So at least from my perspective, I try to do, let's say, a balance of content, right? Kind of the wide end of the funnel stuff that's going to have that mass appeal, but also more of that niche how-to things, like 3 lessons I learned about the mining industry from this podcast interview, for example, getting more specific like that. So why is it important to connect with content creators? Because I think content creators have this skill where they know what that balance is, they know how to tell stories, they know what resonates with their audience, and if your audience aligns with, let's say, a company's audience that they're also trying to reach, that's where there's magic.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I think there's a sense of authenticity that comes from it as well, where coming from an individual that is at a company, they're just like, oh, they're trying to sell that product to that, versus working with a content creator or an influencer or a thought leader in this space. They're coming at it from an agnostic point of view of Chris and I, we've talked and we've worked with every single robot manufacturer, every single PLC manufacturer, every single vision company out there. And you know what we have is we have that sense of understanding is there's a greater problem that needs to be solved in manufacturing than just trying to get the next sale.
Absolutely.
I'm not looking at who's going to sell the next robot, who's going to sell the next product. I'm looking at how are we going to make manufacturing the industry it needs to be in the next 6 months, 5 years, and the next decade.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to do that, is not by these small ideas. It's advocating this idea of technology is going to be impacting our industry long term.
Right. Well, I want to thank you both for coming and taking time out of your busy day. I know you got a lot going on, and I just want you guys to know that I respect the hell out of you. I think you tell great stories. You get great information out there to everybody. So if you're here at IMTS, make sure you find Chris Lukey and Jake Hall. I want to thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks Spot for stopping by as well too. If you missed this interview, you can catch it on the YouTube channel. Follow hashtag IMTS 2022 and hashtag We Are All Creators. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you so much for a fantastic interview. Special thanks to Spot for showing up and adding the jazz with Jake Hall and Chris Lukey. Stay tuned. Megan Ziemba is going to be interviewing the magnificent Nikki Gonzalez of Quote Beam. Don't go anywhere.